Well, as promised, the moment you've all been waiting for, Camp Chair Confessional, Sunday night edition. So we went from Cave Lake today, which is campsite H5. We didn't leave until about 11:15 due to all the rain. I think we had mentioned that. And we got here just shortly after 5. We took our time, took a number of breaks. So this is where we share our deepest, darkest, most eloquent thoughts on what our individual days were like. Whether that's best moments, worst moments, or funny story. So, Mr. Gibb.
Well, I'll start with my best moment is right now, but it will be a little bit surpassed by a little bit later from now when I have a nice cup of coffee whiskey and a nice cigar. Probably the worst moment was the unscheduled dip in the water while I was going for the to fill my water container. Advice to all you young hikers and campers, take your pack off before you go near the water. Thank God I did, or I would be giving you this confessional from underwater.
That's correct. Mr. Zahorak.
John, the best moment of the day, I think was... Sorry, I would do the worst moment of the day first. Better to do worse things then nice than the best thing after. So the worst moment of the day was looking up at the pig beginning to hike it. So, and then the best moment of the day, it's hard to beat cigars at night and have some bourbon, but I would have to say the accomplishment of doing the pig was actually pretty nice. So.
Yeah, I don't think I guess my worst moment of the day was we were going to fill up our life straws at the bridge that crosses Kirk Creek, and without a pack on my back and probably the most easiest rock to be on, somehow I slipped and managed to fall on my keister, so that was my fall of the day. And I'm kind of like Mr. Z. I think the best part was just the accomplishment of getting here all in one piece, and because it was slippery out today with all the rain and made the rocks wet, and anybody who's been on any kind of quartzite when they're wet knows it's just like a sheet of ice. So getting here without any undue bumps and bruises is great. So the other thing I wanted to mention was, I think it started on the Appalachian Trail where you get trail names. So you're never called by your name. So I have a nomination for trail name. And it doesn't have to be this trip. It can be any trip, right? But I have a name for Mr. Gibb. Because Mr. Gibb and I were on a trip. And at some ungodly hour in the middle of the night, he woke me up to hear the wolves. John, the wolves. And so I got up and I perked my ears ready to hear this wonderful sound. And I said, that's an effing loon. Go back to sleep. So I hereby nominate Chris's trail name should be Wolfman.
Wolfman, I love it.
There we go. So he shall henceforth be known as Wolfman.
Wolfman.
So we'll see what other nominations and ideas come up throughout the trip. I'm sure people will start putting their thinking caps on now. The only thing, obviously, is because this is going on YouTube, it has to be PG and can't involve anything,
yes,
too over the top.
We'll have the PG names on the trail, and the R-rated names will just be among us.
That sounds great. So that ends the Sunday night edition of Camp Chair Confessional, and we'll, keep the tradition up for the rest of the trip. It promises to get sillier, stupider, and maybe even more serene. Well, it's Monday morning, day 3 of our Cloche Silhouette Trail adventure. There's only been twice where we've had to utter those infamous French words, où est le sentier? But we only got off trail for literally a minute or two before we found it again, so that's not a big deal. So today we're leaving beautiful H16 and we're heading to H19. It's about a 12K day in and out of the campsites. Jeff's map says about 3 hours, so for us that'll probably be 8. And when we get there, we get there. The bottom line is we're just enjoying ourselves and enjoying the trail. And Mother Nature has blessed us with a bright, lovely sunny day. Last night there were amazing stars, the Milky Way, tons of satellites, shooting stars, anything you could ask for, which only made the camp chair, the whiskey, and the cigar all that much better. So we're looking forward to another great day on trail. We're just packing up. It's about 10 after 9. So, you know, if things go well, we should be at the campsite no later than 2 this afternoon, because we tend to take a lot of breaks. But that's okay, because that way we don't tap out. All right, we'll talk to you later and hopefully show you some more of the trail today. Well, here we are at campsite H21, and we had a bit of a trying day. More on that later. We got here about 4:30 in the middle of a couple of rounds of thunderstorms, so things were pretty wet, and we're trying to dry things out, but we don't have any kind of evening sun. We'll have morning sun, so we got things laid out for that, and I'll give you a tour of the campsite. But take a look at the view. We'll turn it around. So this is Threenarrows Lake. That's Doris Island. More of Threenarrows and the ridge in the background. And then to this side, the ridges that we'll be scaling tomorrow. I know the boys are looking forward to that. So as you can see, just in front of us, we've got the packs and shoes and socks and tarp over there, just trying to dry out, and dinner's on. We're getting ready to eat. So let's walk back this way. I had first choice tonight, so that's where my hammock setup is. And then we keep walking back this way. There's a path just to my right, which would take you down to the Thunderbox. And you see the kind of kitchen setup here. We're not going to bother with wood tonight to burn for a fire, because we just figure everything's too wet and saturated anyway. So we just got the kettle on boiling the water so we can get our meals going. Another view of the lake over there, and then actually a small cottage over there. I don't think there's anyone there at the moment, but that's kind of good that we don't have the company. And we keep walking back here. You can see the bear ropes there. Dry bags ready to hang the food. And Chris just kind of getting themselves situated for dinner with their clotheslines up, ready to go. So it is a gorgeous sight. Like I say, a bit of a trying day, but I'm sure you'll hear more about that when we do the Monday night edition of Camp Chair Confessional.
Did I hear you say a bit of a trying day?
A bit of a trying day.
No truth in advertising here. It was a trying day.
As I said, I'm sure you'll hear more about that during Camp Chair Confessional. But I just wanted to give you a quick tour of the campsite. It's not huge, but the views are just very scenic and certainly rewarding after the day that we had. So we're looking forward to warming our bellies with some hot food, and then we'll get around to the Monday night edition of Camp Chair Confessional. Stay tuned. And if any of you out there would like to sponsor Camp Chair Confessional, just hit the like and subscribe button, and we'll see what we can do.
How's my face? Is there any dirt on it?
Oh, it looks great. Good morning, folks. It is Tuesday morning, and we're going to do our Monday evening version of Camp Chair Confessional now, because yesterday Mother Nature kind of threw the kitchen sink at us when we were on our way to camp with thunderstorms, and we rode those out, and we got another one just as we arrived here. So things were pretty wet and sloppy, and by the time we were ready to do Camp Chair Confessional, it was pretty much full dark. So we're doing the Monday evening version here on Tuesday morning. So we're going to turn to, before we turn to Wolfman, we'll turn to Mr. Z, who is yet to be named, or has he been named? We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see if there's any.
We have a name, but
we'll see if there's any nominations at the end of this. So we'll turn to Mr. Z and get his thoughts on yesterday, his highlights and lowlights.
Good morning. The previous day, I had a few trips and falls, and yesterday, the good part of yesterday was I didn't slip or fall at all, so I was very happy about that. The worst part of yesterday, though, was the rain. Even though we got many warning signs of thunder, we did not prepare ourselves properly for that. We didn't put the weather covering on our backpacks, but we got a good soaker yesterday. That's probably the worst part of yesterday. Yeah.
Wolfman?
Well, I would say the worst part of yesterday for me was the hike from H20 to this campsite. I was seriously bonking. I was exhausted, and I was questioning whether I was even going to make it. And then, surprisingly, when the rain hit, it just re-energized me. It was like a jolt of adrenaline, and in no time we were here. So I'm going to say the worst part was just before the rain started, and surprisingly, the best part was just after the rain started. It was like a boxer getting smelling salts. It shook me back into awareness. So there you go.
And for yours truly, definitely the worst part of the day was the rain. Like Mr. Z already said, just having that brain cramp and not putting the pack cover on and getting the pack wetter than it needed to be, and myself wetter than I needed to be. And it was a cold rain, and I chilled down pretty quickly. So I was pretty much in full shiver mode when we got to the camp, and it took me quite a while to get dry and warm again. So that was definitely the worst part. And the best part of the day for me was actually, I think we were around campsite H18, 19, somewhere in that vicinity anyway. And we came across a younger guy who was hiking solo, and he had tapped out. He had made it as far as H19, and he was heading back because he was sore and tired and whatever. And the reason why that was the best part of the day for me is none of us three old farts are tapping out. We're fully committed. It doesn't matter how long it takes us or whatever, but we're going to get it done and get it through. And I think that speaks to the intestinal fortitude of the three of us. So that was kind of my favorite moment of the day, to see, again, not that I wished evil thoughts upon him, but to see somebody half our age kind of tap out while us old farts are continuing to trudge on. So we're looking forward to today, and we've got the infamous Moose Pass, which definitely I have to take some video of that to tackle. We've got a waterfall to go up. We've got steep rocky descent. So it's going to be a great day, but it's going to be a tough one too. So I don't know, do we have any nominations for trail names before we sign off? Oh, we do have one. Here we go.
Okay, I'm going to give you what has been the funny line of the camping trip so far. Was Mr. Zahorak. We were sitting having a break, and he told us that when he gets home, he's going to take the laces out of his hiking boots and save the laces, but he's going to get rid of his hiking boots so he's never tempted to come and do this again. But I'm going to make a nomination that we give him his camp name of Lee Majors. If anybody can remember who Lee Majors was, he was in a television show called The Fall Guy. And we had Mr. Zahorak was the fall guy yesterday. Or no,
2 days ago.
2 days ago.
Yeah, 4 times. Yeah.
And then yesterday he put on his knee brace, which kind of made him like the Bionic Man, which was another Lee Majors role. So I'll nominate Lee Majors for the camp name of the trip.
So there we go. We have Lee Majors and Wolfman, and he who is yet to be named. So maybe more on that today. They'll probably call me A-hole after making them go through all this stuff. Maybe I'll be the A-team or something like that. Who knows? But we'll see. So signing off for now. We'll definitely take some more video today. I know I said we'd do that yesterday, but it was just, I don't know, we weren't in the mood. But today, because of the scenery and the way the trail runs, it'll be kind of nice for you folks to see some of that terrain. This is the 30-meter vertical descent just after H21. So I'm just filming Wolfman and Lee Majors coming down. As you can see, it's not for the faint of heart. Very steep, very rocky. Thank goodness not overly slippery this morning, although the rocks are wet in spots. But it looks like we're all managing pretty well. And when you get down to the bottom, you've got the beautiful creek that flows along. We're gonna head off in that direction, as you see. And pretty soon we'll be climbing up a waterfall. So we'll show you that in a few minutes. So here we are at the base of the waterfall. You can see Wolfman already starting to make his way up. And as you can see at points, you have to climb right through the waterfall. So very slippery, got to make sure of your footing. But it's just gorgeous. Absolutely, you know, an adventure. And when you complete this trail, you can really say you've made quite the accomplishment, and especially, as I say, when we've seen other people tap out. So we're going to take a break at the top, but I just wanted to show you the view because it sure is awesome.